Good afternoon. My name is Ronald Mitchell. I will be speaking to you today about Israel's premier counterintelligence service, codenamed the Mossad. The Mossad, which means the Institute, is the name for Israel's counterintelligence agency, which formed not long after the country's inception in the late 1940s. In addition to being counterintelligence experts in obtaining as much clandestine information as possible, Mossad members are organized into teams which are referred to as Kaidan meaning bayonet. These teams are also highly skilled assassins. Every operation that is undertaken by the Kaidan is carefully structured and researched as to allow for little to no room for error. The Mossad's existence, its mission, its agents, and its principles have always been shrouded in mystery. They have a reputation for being probably the most ruthless and elusive intelligence group operating in the world today. In the years following the end of the Cold War, global intelligence gathering has undergone drastic changes in methodologies. While it used to be the policy of many intelligence factions is just to gain the information by whatever means necessary, utilizing whatever form of violence, those factions have changed today to incorporate more of an ethical and moral standard and to be more respectful of human rights. One of the items that has led to that is the demise of the Soviet Union's KGB and also the realignment of the United States Central Intelligence Agency to become more analyzed in its approach to gathering and evaluating intelligence. The Mossad has undergone a restructuring of its own, but still works under a mindset that it will do whatever absolutely necessary to guarantee the safety of the people of Israel. While most countries will routinely analyze and consider ethical ramifications before a strike or any sort of effort is performed, a lot of the Israeli Kaidan operate independently and with no government involvement and are allowed to undertake any operations necessary to carry out their mission. In light of the world government, United Nations members advocating a more humanitarian approach to open engagement and clandestine operations, the Mossad still employs instruments that are considered to be very brutal. Their tactics are aggressive and they are intent on eliminating threats, and sometimes the killing appears to be indiscriminate and actually non-proportionate to the measures that they are experiencing for their country. With the shift in values of the priorities and policies of the CIA, there is basically a perceived notion by the Israeli Mossad that the CIA has become, in actuality, sort of a weak intelligence organization, and they become pretty self-centered and narrow-minded in regards to their own clandestine efforts. Now, considering that the CIA and the Israeli Mossad have always fostered a deep-rooted war partnership against terror, there have been some strange relationships due to undertaking of covert activities within the confines of both countries. Long considered as best of friends, the CIA and the Israelis, it's also considered to be not good manners to spy on your friends. And particularly Israel has been accused of this on many occasions. Now, a lot of these opportunities that the Mossad has taken to actively spy on the United States can be attributed to the fact that the United States is one of the greatest military powers in the world, and a good portion of Israel's military might is funded and sponsored by United States activities. Now, another issue that the Mossad harbors a little bit of disdain over is the fact that it considers the United States, in some cases, to be short-sighted in its clandestine outlooks due to the idealism that the United States is literally thousands of miles away from any of its potential threats. Now, Israel literally sits within 1,500 miles of its closest threat and always has potential Islamic hatred groups that are within spitting distance of the country. So, with this difference in proximity, there's definitely a difference in opinion in regards to how they structure and treat and classify their enemies. Typically, the United States partners with other countries that it has basically been classified as the Five Eyes, which is Great Britain, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. And they've cultivated a partnership based on the ethical foundation that allows for sharing of information openly. And Israel and the Mossad do not necessarily subscribe to this belief. Essentially, in conclusion, it's difficult to compare the United States Central Intelligence Agency and the Israeli Mossad because they both do share some similarities. There are also a lot of shared enemy contingents. Conversely, there is the issue of Israel's position in regards to its locale with several Islamic states that hold scorn for this Jewish nation. The United States does not necessarily experience that same situation. The United States does support the Mossad in most of its efforts. However, it does not condone some of the extremely violent techniques in which the Mossad carries out some of its missions. With that said, there has been several partnerships and missions where the CIA has assisted the Mossad, particularly in fleeing their own enemies. Conclusively, the CIA and the Mossad will always share a partnership, just a difference in opinions as far as carrying out operations. Thank you for your time.